Good morning, sorry, I do apologise, I've just finished breakfast, so if I'd known, oh well, not to worry, maybe next time. Okay, I said I'd talk to you about some of the reviews that we've been getting and some of the information and knowledge and comments. So, just like to start off by saying that I just looked a moment ago, and since we started these videos, we've got 39,936 views. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. That's fantastic. Never thought that would happen. Who would want to spend their time watching an old What's It Like Me chuntering on about this, that and the other. And what's even better is that there have been 740 comments on those videos. So you seem to be very actively involved, and all I can say is please keep your comments coming, because that's fantastic. So let's just go through one or two of them. And just one thing before we go any further, because I'm a little bit disappointed. You guys, I mean, there's something going on here, because are you stopping your wives, partners, girlfriends from getting involved? Because I know that there are women who love the easy swing, they love la danse du golf, but for some reason you're not asking questions, ladies. So whether you're being restricted, I don't know. So let's just hope that the men aren't doing anything untoward here. So okay, I'll leave that one with you guys. Okay, so the first one, and these are more in the last couple of videos, last 2 or 3 videos, because as you can imagine, to go through 740, admittedly some of those are my replies as well, but I just didn't have 3 months to do all that. So, but there's some interesting things to come out. So this is from Greg Ramsey. Whoa, another gem has come out of this session. See the ball, not look at the ball. For me, that's profound. And you said it as almost a throwaway line, but it hit me like a sledgehammer. And I wrote back, and I'll tell you a little bit more about Greg, because there's another little comment and conversation that we had later. And I just said, it's strange, Greg, as I've been saying this for so long, that it feels totally normal, and I'm constantly surprised that it isn't more widely understood. It's such a simple concept. I am, though, delighted that it has had such an impact on you. You remember the name Manuel Pinero, a great Spanish player, whose head moved so far by the end of his backswing that the ball was well outside his field of vision. So, see, I believe that ideally you want to be able to still see the ball. But the words to see and to look at are completely different. One, to see is virtually something that you're receiving, whereas looking at is you're emitting, and you get fixated on that ball, and we're fixated enough on the ball as it is, so much so that we're actually prisoners of it. So the fact that I can relax and just let my eyes see. When you're driving a car, and there'll be a comment later on, I believe, from somebody who mentioned something that was quite interesting on this point as well. When you're driving a car, you don't look at much, you see. And you have to, because you have to be aware of everything that's going on. If they said to you, look at this or look at that, you would look at that thing, and then you probably wouldn't notice the important things like the dog that runs out in front of your car or whatever. So, yeah, just having your eyes open, the ball's in your field of vision. Manuel Pinero turned so much, he literally could not see the ball at the top of that hill. Won tournaments on the European circuit and was a very fine golfer, and probably still is, I'm not even sure, because this is quite a few years ago. Okay, I'm going to skip forward, sorry, I'm actually skipping backwards, but you understand what I'm talking about. So this is Greg Ramsey again, a few days ago. Brian, your forward swing rotation is far greater than your backswing rotation. I've always strived to have similar rotation back and through, so am I putting too much thought and effort then into my backswing at the expense of the forward swing? Expense of the forward swing, impact and balanced finish, which is surely more important. And I replied, absolutely, Greg, as I have done for most of my golfing life. It was Tommy Horton, very famous golfer in Britain, who first told me that the business part of the swing is through the ball, not the backswing. That should simply be preparation to swing through and hit the ball. The backswing is a preparation. In baseball, they actually stand prepared to move forward and hit it. So we, possibly because the ball's static, we had this whole thing about the rigmarole about getting everything ready, having a pre-shot routine, and then how am I going to swing the club back, and all that's from a static point of view. So brain starts turning. Most people would do a lot better if they just walked up and hit it. So, and I, in my own game, I've had times in every part of the game, including putting, where you're trying to micromanage everything and guide it and keep an eye on it. Too complicated. Then I put easiest swing. I recall reading many years ago that Hale Irwin referred to the backswing as the back place. In other words, set the club in position to make the forward swing. I'm a slow learner. This is Greg talking, by the way, and you'll see in a moment that he's quite a knowledgeable guy. And I said, totally agree with that. The backswing is just a preparation. I also think we should replace downswing with forward swing. So why do you go back and down? Why don't you go back and forward? So if it's down on the downswing, surely it's up on the backswing. So that should be the upswing, the downswing. Well, that's okay if you're chopping wood, but not hitting a golf ball. We want to actually move the ball forward. That's our duty. So, and then I asked Greg, because I started to get to know a bit more about him, I asked him to send me an email. So this he did. Hi Brian, nice to make contact with you. A little about myself. I'm 66 years old, have been an Australian PGA member for 47 years, was a club pro for the first 15 years, then moved into golf equipment manufacturing, wholesale, for 20 years, and by chance came back into club life at a resort near me as a director of golf for 10 years. I retired 18 months ago, and within 2 weeks a golf course 3 minutes from my home called me about doing some part-time work there. So I now do 3 half days a week in their shop, a little teaching there, and still teach a day a week at a driving range near my previous resort employment. And what's amazing, and he lives on the other side of the world. Australia for us is the other side of the world. And so I then found out that the golf equipment company that was his, and he was the chief designer for the golf clubs, was called Persimmon. And I played Persimmon clubs myself. I used to stock them in my shop. I used to sell them. They were the leaders at the time of tailor-made equipment, and I worked very closely with a very good friend of mine, Roger Chalkley, and his wife Deirdre. They basically owned Persimmon Europe, and they're very, very good friends, and of course Greg knows them intimately, and so we connected, because I'd never met Greg, or I heard about him but never met him. So wonderful that through all of this difficulty that we're going through at the moment, that wonderful things like that can happen. And for me to think that somebody of his ilk and his knowledge in the game is very interested, and that we share a lot of common ground. So all is not lost. Not all golf teachers out there are making the same mistakes, if you'll excuse me for saying that. I just want to move on, and actually we're only moving on, but we're not moving country, but we are about a 5-hour flight. So we're going from the east coast of Australia, and we're now going to the west coast in Perth. And so this is a comment I had from Neville Walker, and it was again about seeing and looking. I coach blind and vision impaired golfers in Perth, Western Australia. I recommend single length clubs to our players. For coaching I use a limited set of 5, 7, 9 pitching wedge and sandwich, basically hybrids with graphite shafts. The advantage of the single length is that the ball is always in the same place. With a 1 plane as opposed to 2 plane swing, we won't get into too much about that today, but you can turn back and through, catching the ball on the way. It is centrifugal force as opposed to leverage. You can't hit at something you can't see. You can't hit at something you can't see. So maybe, again, take your attention away from that ball. I've now adopted your easy swing technique, having read your book and having acquired a Swing Caddy for its audible click, very useful for the blind golfers. For years I've been researching for a way to make the game of golf easier for visually challenged golfers, and you have now shown me the way. Thank you. I have found your videos invaluable. Neville Walker. And again, I've swapped some emails with Neville, and he is actually the president of the Visually Impaired Golfers in Australia, their association, and when all of this is over and we can travel again, if ever, I'm looking forward to all of you guys in Australia, and there's a lot of people get in touch from there. I'm looking to come over and do something, hopefully with Neville. I haven't spoken to Neville about this yet, but I have spoken to Greg, so it's something that we can do in the Perth area and something that we can do in Greg's area, which is 2-3 hours I think north of Sydney. Okay, so, and again, it's just fantastic that experienced and knowledgeable people are able to recognise the value in what the Easy Swing stands for. Right, just moving on a little bit, and I've just got to be a bit wary of time because I had lots of these and I thought, well, I'll breeze through these in no trouble, and then of course you get round to it and it takes a bit longer. So this is a comment from Alan Goody. Excuse me. Thank you for another valuable video with some excellent guidelines. The silent swing video showed golfers that an easy, relaxed swing is achievable. It is unfortunate that many golfers, and I have to unlearn the swing that was drilled into the way we were taught to try and copy gifted, relatively young professional golfers. I think we all agree about that one. When you kick a football, you just do it. Golf should be the same. If you try to analyse every small movement, you would be unable to walk easily. Bob, the ancient one, idea for an indoor golf ball was excellent and not expensive. So thank you, Alan, that's fantastic. You're absolutely right. We do complicate this wonderfully easy game, and not an easy game, it's a simpler game than we've been making it out to be, and less difficult. So I'll just move on to the ancient one, and this is Bob Cunningham, who actually called, well, you'll see. Great insights on freedom of head movement with body weight shift. See versus look. How can a polo player on a moving horse hit a moving ball? That was the point I was referring to a moment ago. That's just a wonderful, wonderful comment. How do they do it? I've always wondered. I've never thought riding a horse is difficult enough, but actually leaning over and hit. And they say that golf's difficult. On lockdown, I use my high-tech low spin ball. Only flies 12 feet on average. Simple, low cost. Use an 8.5 by 11 inch copy paper, wad it up into, which I presume something like that, wad it up into a ball size of golf ball. Won't break pictures, lamps, mirrors, neighbours' windows. Non-threatening and contributes to tension-free swing, getting you out of hit mentality. Wonderful idea, and I must admit I haven't tried it yet, and I won't do it yet because I might need to read some of this. Yeah, it's just wonderful. And he says, cheers from Atlanta. So we're moving around the world a bit this morning. The ancient one. So thanks, Bob, the ancient one. I think you've probably got a nickname there for life. Okay, I'm just moving on, and I won't do too many more because I don't want this to be too long. And this is from, unfortunately, I'm very sad about this, but this is from Mike Dealey, one of our ex-coaches. Just a wonderful guy with so much knowledge. I mean, he is one of the most different people, one of the most different thinkers about golf and about life. So, and you'll see by his comment, it's very long and complicated. Someone asked an easiest swing coach if they should use the easiest swing for all their shots. Only for the shots which you want to hit well. Thanks to Video Mike. Very simple. He cuts through a lot of the noise and just makes it simple. I'm not quite sure how long we've run so far. I'm going to take a sip of coffee and then I'm going to come back, and I just want to talk to you a little bit about how we use the swing trainer to make effective changes. But as you see, I've got some new furniture here. I just need to move it so I can swing my hole-in-one. Back in a moment. Welcome back. Right, just want to show you how you can change things in an easiest way. For those of you who've got a swing trainer, I've had a lot of comments about, as somebody said in the questions I've just talked about, I've been doing things for a long time. Geraint said last time, you've been playing golf 50 years. It's difficult to change these things. So, using this, however, it's a lot easier, because let's take, for example, I had a comment about the left arm. How do I let my left arm relax and bend a little bit? It's been stiff for so many years. Okay, so the first thing is you've got to relax. You can't stand there with it stiff because we've already lost it. Okay, so nice and loose, and then you can say, okay, well that was straight and that's bent. Okay, that's very bent. That's very straight. Okay. Okay, so let's make some movements and let's see if I can just let it naturally relax a little bit and bend. Okay, now let's do that. So this is a great way of implementing changes, getting used to them, and that process of creating a new neural pathway, because your system doesn't allow you to bend your arm. So any of these little things, like another one would be my head. I realise now I'm getting stuck. I want to actually do what Brian's doing. I want to let my eyes and head turn through, because I can go through and finish better. Okay, well, practice it. Practice it. Practice taking your eyes forward before you hit the ball. I saw Paul Casey once, and they had a real close-up of his eyes and his face, and you actually saw, as he was coming into the ball, his eyes moved first. His eyes moved first, and then everything went through. Okay, so let's just try that. So now we're going to do it. Okay, let's just think here. I'm going to as if I've got the hand of Brian, just encouraging me, not hitting me, just encouraging me forward. Oh yes, and look how easy it is to finish then. If I combine moving my head and bending my arms, oh dear, all of a sudden I think I'm beginning to feel the easiest swing. Just one other thing to complement and underpin any changes that you're looking to make. I've got the 3 best shot notebook, and if you were to make notes, for example, everything you're learning through these video chats, if I was to write them down and then sit at home in the evening and just read through and and underline the things that make sense to you and keep reading, because that also helps the growth of those new neural pathways, the new concepts you've got for the easiest swing. So thanks very much, and look forward to you joining me again in another couple of days. See you soon.